Donut Media lost some of its most popular employees and on-camera talent in the past few months, a fate that many larger channels can face in the near future, unless they have a long-term incentive structure in place to retain their star employees. Big Time and Speeed are two channels that were formed by ex-collaborators and employees of Donut Media. In part, the decision to go independent was made out of the creative differences and a disconnect in the vision that this team and the Recurrent had for Donut's content. To me, this is a subjective topic and not something I'm well equipped to debate because I'm not that deep into this niche, and also in case of acquisition by Recurrent, we are not aware what kind of agreements were made between the Donut leadership team and their acquirer. Instead, I will focus on the second main reason why these creators left. James, Jeremiah, and Zach, all three mentioned that there was a lack of long-term incentives. After acquiring Donut, Recurrent retained the team but failed to set up an incentive structure for the team to be as invested in the future of this brand. A common mistake that I've seen startups make in the past. At the inception, new companies are run on the will and hard work of their founder, but unless it is a sole proprietorship, eventually the founder needs to hire employees to grow the business. Due to low cash balance, the startup rarely can afford paying the fair market price to their employees, especially their top star employees. Instead, founders give a portion of the equity in the company and transfer it over to the new hires. This creates a long-term incentive for those employees. Now, instead of just suffering the lack of resources and the long hours, the employee keeps going and ignores the temporary limitations because that equity, once converted to cash, can be life-changing. Famously, the graffiti artist who painted the wall at Facebook was paid in shares of Facebook and became a millionaire. Donut Media did not do that. They didn't paint the wall, they just didn't offer the equity to those star employees, allegedly. Now, I don't put the blame solely on Recurrent, although they are an easy target. I actually think Matt, Ben, and Nick, the original founders of Donut Media, are also at fault. Transparently, I don't know if all of them were there at the point when Recurrent acquired Donut, but I think they could have done a better job taking care of their employees. Again, these are all assumptions based on the comments that James, Zach, Jeremiah made, but they are informed by my own experience seeing how some of those former employees are treated at the companies and startups that were being acquired. As a founder of the company, it is important to create those long-term incentive structures exactly for this reason, so that in case of an exit, the employee gets to benefit from it as well as the founding team. After all, without those employees, the channel won't be nearly interesting enough to become an acquisition target in the first place. And I get it, a lot of people say at this point that, hey, but these few shares that you offer to these employees can become millions of dollars later. And yes, that's kind of the point, because those employees deserve the reward for their hard work and trust in your leadership. This is why I propose a very simple framework to ensure that you as a brand founder set up a long-term incentive for your team. The aim of this framework is to help you keep those employees engaged and interested in growing your channel, and also to ensure that they benefit in the exit scenario. And if you don't plan to sell your channel, offer them revenue sharing or an equity position in, say, a company built on the channel's popularity, like maybe you're selling a drink or a coffee. Whatever you created to diversify your revenue streams might be a great way to incentivize your current employees who help you to grow that audience that eventually translates into those revenue streams. Now, one important note, don't give out those options or shares before those employees proven themselves. Set thresholds, vesting schedules, and benchmarks they need to hit or the channel needs to achieve before anyone receives those long-term incentives. Because the last thing you want is to get excited, get someone in, offer them a portion of your company, and then realize you cannot work together. And if all of this is sounding way too complex, reach out to me. I'm happy to provide you with free feedback on any kind of thoughts you have or the ideas you have on how to implement this framework for your channel. I'll see you next Saturday. Peace.